Yeah. Always get me into these situations again, because I might be tempted. Always get me into these situations again, because I might be tempted. I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love with everything. I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love with everything but me. But me. I just wanna change the world. I just want the perfect girl. I don't wanna hang around, I'd rather be found. It gets better, I wonder, my pleasure together. Everyone's waiting, anticipating. I just wanna change the world, but I'm not gonna wait my turn. I don't ever want to come down, I'd rather be found. It gets better, I wonder, my pleasure together. Everyone's waiting, anticipating.
Oh, yo. Let's go, baby, let's go. Let's go, dude. Putin's personal ball washer.
I will never
All right.
be alone again. I'm immune to the things they said. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant truth. I know that you will understand, because I finally found myself. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant. You're radiant. Radiant.
My world. Let's go. You like the channel? All right. I appreciate that. Woo. I can't pretend. No. I hope this never ends. It's about you. I will never be alone again. I'm immune to the things they said. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant truth. I know that you will understand, because I finally found myself. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant. You're radiant. I love me some intro. Dude, how we doing? Let's go. Oh, shit, dude. Yeah, no, it's a good intro. Oh, we got another good tune hanging with us, too. It's over.
Do you need anything like I
Oh, shit. Let's go. You're from Chicago? All right, good. You should be pissed. If you're not pissed, you're not paying attention.
I've got no place to be alone, my friend.
He cut his wrist instead.
There's your answer. You better save yourself, or else nothing like success. I would rather be in hell than regret. Do you need anything like I need you?
Let's go.
Do you need anything?
Thing like I need you. There's some of the music is in the description. Underneath the video, you'll find it. From Los Angeles and pissed. Let's go. I'm here from Portland. I'm fucking pissed. All right. Dude, let's go. My words tell me where are mine most of the time. Dude, yeah. So dude, the gerrymandering could get crazy, boss. All right? Like they're the Republicans. Dude, the Republicans are now like thinking they might just gerrymander all the fucking Democratic seats out of all of their states. I mean, right now the South can't because of the Voting Rights Act, but you know they're trying to gut the Voting Rights Act via the Supreme Court. So now that I see what's going on, I see that this has been brewing for a while. Okay, that Republicans have not been able to like fully gerrymander the southern states because of the Voting Rights Act. Okay, the Voting Rights Act happened after the Civil Rights Act, where they made it so if you had a high population of people of color, you had to make sure that there were districts that allowed them representation. Okay. So because of that, because of the high volume of people, the black people in the South, they have not been able to completely remove Democratic seats because they have to allow representation for black voters. And those black voters always vote for Democrats. Okay. So now I see now that their long game has been to be able to not have to have any Democratic districts in red states, like no representation for Dem voters. And then thinking that that's going to allow them to, if they do that, they'll be able to control the House of Representatives. I mean, they already, because of the way the Senate works, right? The Senate is already slants in favor of the red states because those low population states have no cities. They're all rural. They're all red. So you have like 18% of the US population having 40% of the vote in the Senate. And there's no way that I mean, we have to do something drastic. We really do. We have to do something drastic to try and overcome this shit. You know what I'm saying? We have to do something drastic to try and I don't know, we have to rework our system of government, right? Because what's going to happen is originally the way our system of government went to begin with was an accommodation to the slave owners. Okay. It really was. It was an accommodation. Oh, I honestly don't know how we get out of this. I don't know how we get out of this, guys. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's going to be interesting, but can we start with something fun? Let's do something funny. One of the funniest posts I've seen on the internet today is something today. It is this. Let me share this with you guys. This is amazing. I don't know who made it, but I found it on the internet. This shit is fucking hilarious, bro. Look at that. It says, clever migrant wears the Epstein files to hide from Trump administration. Dude. Frozen? Yeah. No, there's some drop frames. Huh. Hold on, there's something going on. Yeah. Let me see here. It's possible that there's an update on OBS that I haven't done and could be slowing some shit down. We did have a little bit of drop frames. It was like 2 hiccups. Refresh the browser. Yeah, there is something going on though where like OBS is taking up a whole bunch of the fucking CPU. All right. Yeah, it says there's a poor stream status. And now stream is healthy again. All right. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. Dude, it's possible that we're having some internet issues. And I may need to update OBS, right? But there definitely were some drop frames. and there's something going on where OBS is taking up a lot of the CPU on the computer, which is like really unusual, right? It's like using 18% of the fucking CPU, which it never does. So it's gotta be a because I checked to make sure we were on the 5G, which we were. Yeah, it's gotta be something, right? But I thought this right here, was pretty funny, dude. Right? You see that shit? Government hackers? No, I don't think there's government hackers, but you never know. It's possible we're just having some internet shit. But look at this. Look at this fucking picture right here. Dude, this meme is amazing, right? This meme is amazing. Clever migrant wears the Epstein files to hide from Trump administration. Dude, tell me that's not the funniest shit. Dude, that shit is banging. Oh, you know what I bet it is? You know, I wonder if it's because of... No. All right. Yeah, I don't know what it is. But all right. We may have some hiccups tonight. Dude, Chris, thank you for the membership. We may have some hiccups tonight, but we'll figure it out. All right. We're going to go undaunted. I'm almost positive, guys, it has to do with OBS needing to be updated. That just happens when I don't update OBS, or if I haven't updated, oh shit, whoops. If I haven't updated the OBS, or if I haven't updated my graphics card, I get weird shit like that where then OBS takes up too much of the CPU, and then we get strange we get bizarro shit going on. But yeah, dude, I thought this one was funny, right? You know what I'm saying? Dude, yeah, so to the person worried about the live chat, I wouldn't just worry about your comments, you know what I'm saying? I mean, here's my thing, guys. As far as like censorship and that shit goes, I think it's good to not worry about that shit. Like, just be you on the internet. And sometimes YouTube's gonna censor you, or Twitter, or that shit. I know it sucks when that happens, but let me just say, as somebody who used to use TikTok a lot back before it became the way it is now, like, one of the things that I think that, I don't know, it seems to work itself out, right? Like, YouTube sometimes censors my comments, but it's way more pleasurable to be on YouTube with that little bit of censorship than it is to be, you know, on Twitter, where like the nastiest racist shit is in my replies like all day long. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, I think there's some benefit, even if it means I occasionally get silenced. And yeah, TikTok is going to be fucked up, bro. Right? Dude, you know what I'm saying? Choose live chat. Yeah, I have live chat. I have live chat chosen, but make sure you choose live chat too. Because if you don't have live chat, it definitely censors stuff. But I guess I try not to worry about that, because I realize that it's all of us. We're all going through that. But I mean, if you're really concerned about that, I get it. But I wouldn't waste too much time worrying about that. And even with the shadow banning, right? With the shadow banning, like there have been times on fucking Twitter where I felt like I was shadow banned, or on TikTok. And I don't know how much that exists. I think just sometimes, you know, we don't get a lot of reach, you know? But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. So today was weird though, right? Today was definitely weird. And I just froze again. That's on you. We're actually holding solid, right? Everything here is good. If I'm freezing now, it's on you. We're good. We're going. But dude, so yeah, the Jillian thing I thought was really interesting. And what's more, this guy Robbie Starbuck replied to me today. Today was like all of a sudden, these big Twitter accounts started replying to me. But let's look at that Jillian Michaels one, shall we? Because I don't think she's replied again. But so let's go into this Jillian Michaels scenario and see what happens here. So, okay, I'm going to go in. Here was the original post. Okay, the original post was, right? I'm going to take you through this whole thing. And so we can see the diary of what's going on with Jillian Michaels. All right. Dude, I get excited. Dude, I am excited. I am excited. I don't know, guys. I mean, I am having kind of a rough day because Jenny got back from her trip. She was gone for a week, and we kind of had a little bit of a fight. So, which happens, you know, like weird stepfamily shit. So I don't know, but it's just part of like fucking being a, you know, having a stepfamily and going through it. But anyway, let's look at the Jillian Michaels thing, because I think this is very important, guys. Okay, because, so you ready? Check this out. Yeah, no, I know, Natalie. I've got the timeline, though. I think I got it. So it started with this Tennessee Holler article. And if you guys don't follow the Tennessee Holler, I highly recommend it. Okay, this is a great account that is, you know, obviously being social justice conscious in the South is, man, it's a hard job, bro. Anytime I feel like I am fucking, you know, struggling, I think of how hard it would be to be me in fucking Tennessee, right? Or me in fucking Louisiana. You know, these people that are fighting for social justice in the South are the true fucking warriors. But anyway, so the Tennessee Holler said, truly humiliating stuff here from Jillian Michaels and from CNN for giving nonsense like this airtime night after night as our democracy hangs in the balance. And you see, Peter over here said, are the producers at CNN proud to pump out this corrosive societal pollution every night? Are the non-existent ratings worth it? And then, you know, it had a clip where Jillian Michaels, obviously, we've all seen the clip, but she was basically, you know, the Smithsonian exhibits, like, they say white people bad. And I'm really upset. Slavery, only 2% of Americans had slaves, and yada, yada, yada was her thing, right? Not all white people are bad. Although, one thing I would like to point out that I hadn't even thought of is in the South, where she said, you know, she said only 2% of the people own slaves. But I will remind you, the slave patrols that went around and picked up slaves that had run away and returned them to their owners, it was mandatory. Whether you own slaves or not, I am live chat. Whether you own slaves or not, whether you, right, no matter what you did, okay, no matter what you did, whether you own slaves or didn't own slaves, agreed with slavery or not agreed with slavery, you were forced to participate in the slave patrols, or they would burn your shit down. Okay? So like this idea that people, they went along. All right? Everybody down in the South went along. They participated in the abuse. Right? All right. But anyway, so the Tennessee Holler weighed into it. And then this person right here tagged Jillian and said, when Jillian Michaels remarks it was only 2%, etc., she is denigrating all humanity by trivializing what was done to others and consequently placing her own soul in jeopardy by not recognizing such evil for what it was. Evil. None of us are free until all of us are free. And dude, this is so true, this line. This idea that none of us are free until all of us are free. And in particular, if you look at any anti-racism work, they talk about the freedom of the black woman, and that we thought Kamala Harris, maybe she wins this election, and that would be the first step in the freedom of the black woman. But black women in particular, they have it really rough, right? You're seeing Jasmine Crockett, right? Sarah Gonzalez goes and calls her a hood rat and shit. and they're literally writing her district out in Texas to remove her. They're gerrymandering her district away because powerful black woman. Dude, they abhor them, right? If a powerful black woman speaks up, they say she's rude, she's aggressive. I mean, they did it here in Portland with Joanne Hardesty. They spent $1 million on a city council race to put a man in her seat to hound her out. Because why? She took on policing. She tried to help the homeless. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, there is some truth in here, okay? But now, Jillian Michaels really got upset by this. And now bear with me, guys, okay? Because we're going to go through, and there's a lot to unpack here with the Jillian Michaels thing. Yeah, not one of us is free until all of us are free. So now Jillian said, I'm denigrating all of humanity by pointing out that 98% of American white people in 1860 didn't perpetrate slavery. And in fact, many white Americans died to end it. Now, this is the repeated cry of the white people, okay? Because what happens is they don't want museums to show you the horrors of slavery and show you the horrors of the white men that came here, that created a government of white men, that raped their wives, that killed the natives, that extinguished their food supply, enslaved black people, wouldn't let women have any rights, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The ones that committed Jim Crow and redlining and lynchings and the KKK and segregation 100 years after slavery. They don't want to look at any of that. They want to focus on, well, white people ended slavery. And it's like, all right, creating a fucking demon and then vanquishing the demon doesn't give you some special thing for vanquishing it. Okay? When you create an out of control, harmful, toxic culture, we're not going to give you a reward when you finally extinguish it because you should have never created it in the first place. Okay? And that's really what's at play here. Okay? But anyway, there's a lot to unpack here, because if you go to the South, it was like 40% of the people owned slaves. And the people in the North that worked in the textile factories, the people in the North that worked in import-export business, all the goods they were exporting and importing, all that money they were making was because of the people in the cotton fields, the people in the tobacco fields, the black people. And for, from 1619 until 1865, okay, 240 years, the black people received $0 for creating all that wealth. And at the end of the Civil War, they didn't get any money. They still had $0. And in fact, Texas didn't even let them know slavery had ended. Texas kept them enslaved until Juneteenth several years later. Okay? And then they did vagrancy laws, black codes, right? They instilled the system of Jim Crow, and they put them back into prisons where slavery was still legal with a felony charge, and convict leasing and segregation. And they did this all the way until 1964. So this idea that once these white people fought to end slavery, the white people continued to denigrate and enslave the black people in every legal way possible, right up until 1964. Okay, now check this out though, guys, because here's where it gets interesting. Okay, because then she says, the Wolverine roar comes in and says, 1 out of every 4 white men owned slaves if they lived in the South. The others who didn't still benefited from this. And again, the others in the South were forced to participate in the slave patrols. Okay, now, Jillian says this. She says, so are you in the all white people are bad camp? Or can we acknowledge that slavery and oppression have been carried out by every race against every race throughout history? Yes. In America, there were white slaveholders who committed horrific crimes against black people. But the reason your statistics come only from the South is because most other states outlawed slavery outright, recognizing it as morally reprehensible. We can't ignore the roughly 350,000 white men who died in the Civil War to help end it. Slavery was abhorrent, but holding every white person, past or present, collectively guilty isn't accurate, and it certainly isn't productive. But here's the problem, guys. The problem is all of our systems were built on that slavery principle of the white people having the wealth and power and the black people having none. And in fact, it went beyond race to the class separations where the 1%, what's crazy about this, guys, is Jillian says only 2% of America owns slaves. But you ready, guys? Right now, you know who owns 40% of all wealth in America? 40%. The top 2%. 2% of America, the same 2% that, right? 2% own slaves. 2% in America own 40% of the wealth today. Okay? And the bottom 50% in America own 2.5% of the American wealth. So we are still in a system today where the owners have everything and the workers are, poor as shit. They don't have many resources. But this idea, though, that because you didn't hold slaves yourselves, the fact of the matter is nobody wants to punish a white person for having slaves, but we do need to do something systemically and karmically because we have profited for hundreds of years and passed our money down generation to generation. The black people got nothing after slavery, and then when they did build Tulsa, white people burned it down. Okay, when they did build a black financial district in North Carolina, the white people burned it down. Okay, the black people got lynched. They had no voting rights. They couldn't get jobs. They couldn't buy houses. Their neighborhoods were starved. And in fact, the slums follow the black people. Okay, if a black person's in a slum and they move into a white neighborhood, if a couple of their friends move in, that white neighborhood will become a slum in America, right? And right, because the white people will flee and nobody will invest in it. They will starve it. They will turn it into an underfunded black neighborhood. And that's still a fucking, you know what I'm saying? That is still a remnant from slavery and the system of white supremacy. Now, here's where Jillian and I get into it, okay? Because I replied this. I replied, we aren't in the all white people are bad camp. We're in the our systems were built on slavery and it's still affecting people of color to this day negatively. So we really should do something about it camp instead of the let's make sure no white people ever feel bad camp. Okay, now, that was a couple days ago. Okay, now Jillian replied to me today, but this reply is weird, guys. Okay, because first off, look at all the M dashes. You see these M dashes? That is a sign of ChatGPT. Okay, ChatGPT puts M dashes in everything. Nobody else puts M dashes in this shit, okay? And what's more, though, you ready? Look at the first line of this, guys. It says, great question. I have a long answer. But guys, I didn't ask a question. My thing is not a question, right? There's no question there. I didn't ask a question, but she said, great question. I have a long answer. I took some time to think about it and write, so I hope you'll read it. Okay, dude, this is like Chat GPT, but here's what she said. You ready? And guys, I think my response to this is fucking incredible. Dude, Creamy, we all like using dashes, but nobody really uses M dashes, right? Most people just use a double dash. You have to have an ASCII code to use the fucking dash. But yeah, dude, whenever I have Chat GPT do something about it. Whenever I use ChatGPT, I always remove the M dashes. Okay, but anyway, yeah, there's no question. But let's read her thing. I think my response to this, guys, is golden. So she says, great question. I have a long answer. I took some time to think about it and write, so I hope you'll read it. All right. And it said, there's a common refrain. It's not black people's job to explain racism to white people, but maybe that's the work we all have to share if we want something better. To speak, to listen, to push past the exhaustion and pride. There's another refrain. I don't have to sit through lectures about things I didn't do, but maybe you do have to listen long enough to hear the pain behind the words. Because building a future together isn't about what's owed, it's about what's given. The high road is the hardest path, but it's the only one wide enough for all of us to walk together. But now let me pause right here, though, because what she said here, the high road, she says the future isn't about what's owed, it's about what's given. But like, guys, the black people gave everything for hundreds of years, okay? They're not owed. It's like they're not saying, oh, you owe me. It's like we literally owe them. They like, you know what I mean? The future is about what's given. Well, they've already given. So it's our turn to give, right? Jillian, it's our turn to give selflessly. Doesn't matter if we get called names. Doesn't matter if they get mad at us and tell us we're not doing it right. We keep giving. But more on that later. Okay, she said, I think white people are very empathetic, but blaming people for something they didn't do isn't fair or productive. Now, I would like to say that having a bunch of Smithsonian exhibits that talk about the horrors of slavery is not blaming people, okay? Acknowledging what our ancestors did and looking at the systemic racism inherent in our system and saying, wow, let's fucking change this. That's not blaming people. The people who feel blamed are the ones who don't want to look at it. And they're like saying, don't make me look at it because I don't want to feel bad being white. And it's like, well, man, if you feel bad looking at enslavement, if you feel bad, the horrors of the white man, then you should do something about that. Because obviously, if you feel bad, it's for a reason, not because we're pointing it out to you. You feel bad because, of course, you feel bad. Because our whole country was founded on terrorism against black people. All right, now here, you ready? Let's go on. It says, she says, and here's where I want to speak directly to white liberals, she says. Too often, what gets presented as allyship is really a grab for moral superiority without sacrificing anything of substance. Virtue signaling may feel righteous, but it doesn't heal wounds or build futures. It encourages victimhood instead of agency, again with the 𝗙Chatt, right? And while it's true that every one of us lives in a nation built in part, she says, on the backs of slavery. You see that minimization right there? Every one of us lives in a nation built in part. And it's like, no, the entire foundation of this fucking country was slavery. The entire foundation. We were 100%. Our judicial system, our education system, our property tax system, our government system, our capitalism, our fucking educational system, all of that, our wealth accruing system, all of those are built on foundations of slavery and white supremacy. But anyway, she said, and while it's true that every one of us lives in a nation built in part on the backs of slavery, the debt is real. The way forward cannot be hashtags, guilt theater, or hollow apologies. The way forward is work, she says. It's building mutual aid societies that strengthen communities, funding job training programs that create sustainable careers, offering scholarships that open doors for undeserved students. Hello, that's DEI, you fucking, like, right? And establishing mentorship networks that connect young people with role models. That is what solidarity looks like in action, not words, but sacrifice, service, and commitment. And again, with the M dashes. Okay, so the 𝗙Chatt shit. But like, dude, so she's basically saying we need DEI, but she's working to fucking with the people that are dismantling DEI. But now, watch my response, guys, because you'll notice my response, I ratioed her. Okay, but watch this response, guys, because I think this is one of the better things I wrote. I said, the way forward isn't what you're doing. You literally had Jack Posobiec on your podcast. He is a known white supremacist. You were yucking it up with him, never once asked him about his white supremacist ties. Why would you do that? Right? Why are you suddenly on a podcast featuring voices that are actively part of a movement to reverse civil rights advances in America? Is it because PBD pays you? Because no one is buying your talk about building communities and stuff when you platform white supremacists. That is actually first-rate gaslighting. And then you go on CNN to try to say left-wingers say white people bad. No, you don't get to gaslight us, Jillian. Our American systems, real estate, financial, judicial, policing, generational wealth accruing, they are all still based on remnants of that slavery you don't want to talk about. And people are suffering. There is no victimhood except your constant refrain of please stop saying all white people bad. Okay, are you ready and willing to start actually changing all those systems? Or are you going to keep platforming white supremacists while you gaslight us and thinking you can get away with it because you adopted a black child? Okay, dude, that's money, bro. If you want to fucking support that and fucking go ahead and retweet that or whatever, yuck it up. There's the link. I thought that was pretty fucking well said. And then I also said, Jillian Michaels, the M-dashes in that response make me think some of it was ChatGPT. If you really want to talk about this, I am ready and willing to fly down and come on your show to discuss this or any other topic. Let me know. All right, so we'll see. There's an open invite for me to go down to LA and I'll appear on the show and we can have a fucking deep, in-depth talk about this. I'm totally game. But now, guys, we have to go and look at some of this other stuff, though, because she said some other things, right? I'm still waiting on her reply, okay? And, right? And she said, I actually scanned this in ChatGPT. Oh, dude, so yeah, she's like, whatever, she's using ChatGPT in her fucking tweet replies. Like, dude, that's so lazy. Like, you're telling me if you're replying to me with ChatGPT in your tweets, you're certainly not up for the fight of like bringing equity, okay? Right? And so thank you, Natalie. That's crazy. All right, now, you ready? So check this out, though. We got to look at some of her other replies under this, okay? Because she said some other stuff that I thought was really interesting, where you really see what she's about, okay? And so where is it? Let me find the reply. Give me a sec here. Okay, it's right here, right? All right, so there's a couple other things that got said here, okay? Now, let me see this one. Oh, yeah, here, I found it. Okay, so after her thing, right? Somebody said, have you done any work with black folks to help better American society? That's what somebody asked Jillian after her ChatGPT response to me. And she said, actually a lot. Now you'll notice this response doesn't have M-dashes. So this is like what it looks like when she's actually typing versus when she's using ChatGPT in her response. Dude, but look what she says, though. She said, actually a lot, and then I got labeled a white savior. So to be honest, I moved to the sideline since 2020 because it feels like a lose-lose no matter what. And now, let's talk about this, right? Because I said, first off, let's talk about the concept here, okay, of this. I got labeled a white savior, okay, because what she's saying is she tried to work with black folks to help society, and then they called her a white savior, or somebody denigrated her with name calling. But like, guys, if we're white people in America, like black people got enslaved, they got whipped, they got beaten, they got raped, they got starved, they got like Jim Crowed, They got black coded, vagrancy lawed, convict leased, lynched, crosses burned, segregated, redlined, knee on the neck in public from the police. I mean, if we can't handle being called a white savior or being told like you're not doing it right, you're a racist, like really? How can we fucking, you know what I'm saying? How can we fucking complain about that? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? How can we like bitch about being called like she gets called white savior and she's like, I'm done. I quit. It's a lose-lose. How dare you fucking call me a name? It's like, really? That's all the fight that you have in you? Is somebody calls you a white savior? You know what I'm saying? That's it. They call you a white savior and you check out? Like, no. We need to be willing to be called names and fucking, you know what I'm saying? And then she says here, she says, you got me. The post I put out, particularly the one you reference, is absolutely inspired, but the Thomas Sowell, not ChatGPT, that I don't even know what this says, right? And she says the talk it comes from is a video. She's now like giving me a fucking a Thomas Sowell video, right? But she is I'm hold on, I'm gonna fucking put the link here. I could bring some black members too. All right. Hold on. That's 20 minutes ago. Hold on. It's too long. I fucking... All right, I'll just leave it like that. Dude, I hate it when it truncates like that. Dude. But, so anyway, she's like throwing the Thomas Sowell, right? Fucking, you know what I'm saying? The Thomas Sowell fucking video. I don't know what she's doing, right? You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna put that there too. But you notice though, right? Yeah, no, he is fucking. He is, you know, like, I don't know. He's not the sole voice on this matter. Let me just put it to you that way. But you'll notice though that she like did not respond to my response asking her about fucking yeah. Dude, all I can say is you guys, everybody get in her replies. Get me on that show. All right? Let's fucking, why did she invite? Yeah, I mean, you know, we do need to talk about, like, she conveniently voided that question, right? But see, it's crazy though, because some of this stuff is like, you know what I'm saying? It's like she's avoidant. All right. You know what I mean? Yeah, he is like, so he is basically a black voice that parrots the white supremacist take. Okay. Is what he is. Okay. If you look at him, all right, he's an economic historian, right? He was a Democrat, then he became an independent. Okay, he's very educated, but you know, he is like got sort of a libertarian bent to him. All right. And what he talks about though is he talks about how he used to be a Marxist and he like grew up. Okay. And he is basically, all right, he is like one of the people who kind of like gives a like here, let's do the AI. All right, here, let's do an AI mode where we say, right, you ready? So there we go. He says, disparities are not necessarily discrimination is number one. Okay, these are his arguments. That's saying, oh, there's a wealth disparity. That doesn't mean there's any discrimination. Oh, really? That doesn't have anything to do with the slavery. All right, he challenges the notion that disparities in outcomes between racial groups are automatically evidence of discrimination. He argues that various factors, including cultural differences, individual choices, geographical circumstances, and historical events can lead to these disparities. But bro, yeah, historical events, slavery, right? Geographical circumstances, redlining, right? Individual choices, like there is some individual choice, but when you're redlined and there's a slavery remnant, your choices are limited. Cultural differences, right? A lot of that is discrimination, but his are about culture and individual responsibility, like play a significant role. Okay, he emphasizes the importance of cultural factors, work ethic, educational attainment, which is pretty hard to get if you're impoverished and you live in a fucking neighborhood that has terrible schools, right? Which is every neighborhood of color. And he was critical of affirmative action. And he says historical context matters. But look at what he says. He says he points out slavery was a widespread practice throughout history and across different cultures, not solely a unique American phenomenon. But here's the deal. And Jillian, if you're watching, you see this. This is for you too. The deal is we know slavery was worldwide. We know it happened in Africa. We know it happened everywhere, but that doesn't matter. None of that matters. What matters is the Americans industrialized it. They turned it into a business. They built the most wealthy and powerful country in the world on the backs of those black people. Okay? We used it to build the modern day empire. And we never gave the black people anything for what they went through. Never. And chattel slavery was very specific. Okay. And what's more, guys, is we tried to do it with the natives. Okay. They tried to do the natives, but the natives kept dying from the European diseases. That's why they grabbed the black people, because the black people were so fucking sturdy and powerful. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so this is her guy, is Thomas Sowell, right? And like, dude, he is not the guy, all right? You know what I'm saying? And we do have legalized slavery, all right? You know what I'm saying? But dude, but again, though, when I say I'll come on your podcast, she's like, oh, I don't think white people should talk about this. But really? I don't know. I see you talk about shit on your podcast all the time, right? Yeah. All right. And here, I'm going to go ahead and put a fucking link to that one if you guys want to share that fucking tweet. But yeah, so that's my fucking battle with Jillian. But I thought this comment in particular was the most brutal one, guys. Okay? And because this comment where she said she worked with black folks to improve America until she got called a white savior, and then she was like, fuck it, it's a lose-lose. So the minute she received any pushback, she was done, right? Oh, and this is very similar to what Anna said, right? The minute the left-wing people held her accountable to like, yeah, don't demonize the homeless, right? Don't attack the trans people. How dare you say I'm transphobic? How dare you say I've done something bad, right? You called me a name. I'm out. I'm going to go with the MAGA people where I can be whatever. I could be a Nazi. I could be Hitler. And they'd be like, yeah, Vladimir Putin said there was election interference. So let's start passing laws based on Vladimir Putin. And yeah, what Mr. Longear said right there, she was waiting for an exit. She was looking for him. Because my thing, guys, is I keep showing up. Okay, I keep showing up. And let me just tell you, a while back, okay, about, I don't know, it was like 2017, okay, I was in a Facebook group about filmmakers here in Portland. And there was a guy in it being really transphobic. And I gave him some shit about that. And there was a trans woman in the chat, and she got mad at me and was like, you barely stood up to that guy. Like, and you think you're an ally? She was like, fuck you. And I was like, you know, you're right, actually. Like, you're right. I should have been more forceful. And then I did. And then what ended up happening was I said, I took her out to lunch. And I said, I would like to talk to you about, like, maybe working together or whatever. And what ended up happening, though, is I went and met that trans woman for lunch. And she didn't want to work with me. And she didn't, like, fucking snuggle up to me in a friendship way. She didn't trust me at all. And she basically implied, you're still not doing enough. But like, I didn't get mad at her for that. And I didn't fucking decide I'm not going to defend trans people anymore. I decided I'm going to get better and I'm going to understand, like, of course, the number of experiences she had with white dudes like me that look kind of scruffy. Like, yeah, I get it why she doesn't trust me. And it may take me fucking 10 years, 15 years of like doing good works before somebody trusts me. Maybe they'll never trust me, right? But at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter, right? I'm going to continue to be an ally even if people tell me I'm doing it wrong. Then I'll say like, okay, how can I do it right? And right? And if they call me a white savior, I'll be like, yeah, all right. I get it. I get it. I hear you. Like, how can I do this better? You know, but this idea that if you call her a name or something, she's out is like pretty wild. You know what I'm saying? It's like pretty fucking wild here. You know what I mean? But yeah, so she's replying more to this. This was 12:11. This was 20 minutes ago. And the Wolverine War said, did you attempt to say whites did not own slaves who were part of the Union? Delaware, Maryland, Kentucky, Missouri, and West Virginia were all slave-holding Union states during the Civil War. Once again, you're not well educated in the subject and continue to embarrass yourself. And she says, you are referencing the border states that had divided loyalties. There were residents who fought for both the Confederacy and the Union in states where soldiers fought slowly for the Union. Slavery had been completely abolished by the eve of the Civil War. Here's the better issue I hope you'll have to consider. Okay, so let's say, Here we go. There we go. I'm going to keep pushing. Dude, let's go. Dude. So anyway, so yeah, dude, this is fucking some crazy shit. Okay? Isn't it crazy? I think this is fucking wild, guys. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, it is wild. Okay? It is fucking wild. Dude, some people, they do cling to their victimhood. You know what I mean? But she is getting ratioed like so resolutely in here, right? There are so many fucking ratios. You know what I mean? But again, though, guys, like, again, the thing about this is nobody is saying, like, I mean, we could say that the culture of whiteness and white supremacy, bad, okay? And if we're not, and it's our job to, like, eradicate that badness, but we're not going to be able to eradicate that badness by saying, well, slavery was everywhere. Everybody's doing it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And Jack, yeah, so the thing about that, though, Jack, so I don't know what was said about that trans woman, but like the thing, this idea of like woke scolding is like, we should pay attention to that. You know what I mean? Like, it's like when that trans woman told me I wasn't doing enough, okay? Like, instead of like looking and hearing her as saying like, what, you're not enough, or like you're bad, right? I just realized that, like, for her, where like her daily existence is based on fucking a hard to survive reality, that like she needs help from people like me who have significantly more power in this world. And in fact, part of the reason why marginalized people have it so bad is because the people with the power are not, you know what I'm saying, are not using it. Like, even you could look at like Jillian, right? Like, Jillian feels like she got woke scolded and called a white savior. But it's like, bro, Jillian has enough power that she should be willing to be called a white savior. She should be willing to take some of the bullets. You know what I mean? Like if I can go out there and take a beating to help advance the plight of people with less power than me, that's like valid. You know what I mean? Like, the minute I encounter resistance, I'm not going to give up. We're like, oh, that's such a poor, it's like, I expect the resistance, And yeah, I mean, it's okay in the beginning. Like, believe me, when that trans woman first told me I wasn't doing enough, like, I did get like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I'm like putting myself out here, but then I realized like a lot of that is the ego. You know what I'm saying? Where like, yeah, nobody wants to be told they're doing it wrong. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to be told they're doing it wrong. But I think, though, what you have to understand is when marginalized groups are going to be slow to trust certain types of people, right? Like, if you're a white male, transgender people it's gonna take you a long time for them to feel like they can fucking trust you. Why? Because most like straight white men are the very ones that are like beating the shit out of them, or having sex with them and then fucking hurting them afterwards. You know what I mean? Like, it's like fucked up, So like, you have to be willing to put in the time, yes, to earn the trust, and I think that's really it, to earn the trust. Now I could see how if Jillian adopted a black daughter, okay, Jillian adopts a black daughter, I bet Jillian got met with a lot of like weird fucking stuff. You know what I'm saying? I bet Jillian received a lot of fucking pushback adopting a black daughter. But it seems like she's aiming her pushback at the wrong people, you know? You know what I mean? And like, you know, and I mean, guys, when you think about it, you know, if you go back to the slavery thing, like it's beyond just the slavery in America. It's what we did after the slavery, right? We did it after the slavery, you know? You know what I'm saying? Like after the slavery, we went another 100 years of denying them the ability to have any generational wealth. Okay, we let people off the plantation and then did nothing but hurt them for another 100 years. Like, that is so fucked up, bro. You know, that is like really fucked up. You know? But yeah, earning trust takes a little while. But yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see how that works out. I know, I mean, guys, you know what's fucked up is let me just tell you that even right now, okay, and I have been through the judicial system, guys. I got in a little trouble when I was 20. I had a fake ID. I got drunk. I went out with some dude who was from like the rougher set of people, and he wanted to steal a car stereo. And so I went along with him. And with another friend, we were all drunk and we watched him steal a car stereo and we got arrested. Okay. And so I went through the criminal justice system, a UCLA student at age 20 for stealing a car stereo. Okay. And as a white guy, I went through a criminal justice system where if I had been a black guy, they may very well have given me a felony. Okay, there's a separation where they can charge you as a misdemeanor or they can charge you as a felony. A felony means you go into the prison system and you go into the legalized slavery. The misdemeanor means you get probation and you do community service or pay a fine. And what happens is that system is designed so white people can be punished without going to prison. And it's designed so people of color can be given felonies and put right into legalized slavery. It is not an accident, guys. This whole system was designed to have an escape valve for the fucking, the white people, or like what they're trying to do with the sandwich thrower. Okay? Pam Bondi wants to charge the sandwich thrower with a felony. Why? Because it'll mean prison system for that person, for that Democrat, for that whatever, right? But that's what they do to black people, okay? A black guy goes out and, same black guy, same age, goes out and steals one car stereo. They're giving him the felony. He's going to prison. A white guy like me from UCLA did it, and they give me a misdemeanor. I pay a fine. I go do Caltrans, clean up the roadways for a couple weeks. Boom. I'm on with my life. Okay? The system is baked into it as a way of like trying to put who they want to put into the legalized slavery. And it could be their political opponents. It can be people of color. And yeah, and you know what's funny about this, guys, is simultaneously we will have rats like Matt Walsh or Michael Knowles, these fucking degenerates who will sit there and say the black families have a problem. There's not enough fathers sticking around. And it's like, you fucking cunts. Like, we over-police black neighborhoods. They put all the black men in fucking prison for the whatever, for marijuana. And then you're wondering why these women are raising kids without fathers. And then you come out and try and turn it into some racist shit like black men are fucking terrible. When no, they're not, man. When I was in fucking AA, I had a black sponsor. He was like a father to me. And he was goddamn good. Dude, he was like more caring and nurturing than a lot of the fucking white men I've ever been around. Okay? And so, like, it's fucking bullshit. This idea. It's like they, you know, and can I show you one other tweet, guys? One other tweet about this before I get done and we move on is this other responder okay? Because somebody else responded to this. All right, let me show you. It was in the Jillian Michaels tweets, okay? When I said the way forward isn't what we're doing, and I'll be on the show. But look at what this one guy said to me, okay? Somebody replied to me. Let me find it. Oh, I know where it is. It was in the other one. It was in, I know it's hard to find this shit. But let me show you one other tweet because I thought it was really interesting. Okay. Was this one. Let me get it. I'm gonna get it. Okay. It was this one. Watch the response in here. Let me see. Where is it? Give me 1 sec. All right, hold on. I'll find it. I'm just gonna search for my profile. Okay, here it is. Okay, so it was this, where I said, we aren't in the all white people bad camp, right? My original response to Jillian. So this guy said, does it make you feel bad that we point out black on black crime, is what he said. Okay, I'm just trying to make sure I understand. And look at the response I gave, because I thought this was really good, right? Where I said, there is no such thing as black on black crime. There's just crime, okay? That's it. There is just crime, okay? No one ever talks about white on white crime. Why? Because of racism. The only reason, first off, race on race crime exists is because we live in a country constructed from slavery and white supremacy that puts races in proximity to themselves, right? Almost all white crimes are against white people, but you never hear the phrase white on white crime. Why isn't that, right? Because black on black crime is a dog whistle used to imply negative associations about the non-white race. So they say black on black crime because that's implying that black people are hurting each other because they're, inferior. When it's like, no, they're just forced to live next to each other because of the economic system. And in fact, almost all crimes by white people are perpetrated against other white people. But you never hear white people talk about, man, we really have a problem with all this white on white crime. What's going on with us white people? Why are we killing our own all the time, white people? Right? White on white crime, right? And like there isn't black on black crime. There's literally just crime, period. You know what I'm saying? Right? You know what I mean? I mean, dude. This shit. But dude, today though is crazy because not only have I been going at it with Jillian Michaels, but Robbie Starbuck got back to me too. And we'll save that. I'm not going to go into that now because I haven't responded to him yet. But it seems like a lot of like these bigger right-wing people are now starting to respond to me. Okay? So we're going to we're going to keep going, guys. We're getting out there, baby. We are getting out there. Mission being accomplished. All right. I'm going to have you listen to a song for a minute. I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'll be back. And then we're going to hit up some more politics. All right. We're going to get political, baby. BRB.
Still
Let's go. My shoe, the only one who's wrong. And I'll be devastated if I'm wrong. I am the one you love to hate, but you cannot devastate. It will be interesting, I'm sure, but I want more. Dude, what a fucking tune, bro. Dude, we were a pretty good band. I am the one you love to hate, but you cannot devastate. Dude, it didn't take long to get rid of that fucknut, did it? Oh shit, bro. Let's go, dude. Ooh. Dude, let's go. Dude, everybody hit the like button, baby. Dude, I don't know what the freak out is. I didn't even take a shit. I just peed. Come on, chill. I like to get on my phone, though. When I take a bathroom break, I take a minute. I go in the kitchen. I breathe. I fucking scroll around and check the stats in my video and see what shit's going on. I like to, you know what I'm saying? I like to just have the process, bro. Take a little break. Take like a 10-minute, you know? You know what I'm saying? And even when I do take a shit, I shit fast, right? I do. I'm a fast shitter. You know, there are some people who will sit there and spend like 30 minutes in the bathroom, and I don't. I spend like 2 minutes, and I'll do that like 3 or 4 times over the course of the day, right? Rather than sit there for like 20 minutes. It's not my style, dude. I don't have that kind of time to waste, you know, on a bodily function, right? Dude, some people just like to they have a process of like clearing everything out, right? But I do everything fast. I do. I'm a speedy guy. I have a whole creativity thing that I gotta fucking take care of. You know? Dude, oh my God. You know what I think is funny about the Laura Loomer? I made that video tonight, and it's a hilarious video. But what I think is funny about the Laura Loomer thing is how obviously when she talked about Arby's in her pants, she was making a reference to MTG's vagina looking like fucking, you know, a bunch of roast beef. You know what I'm saying? But she wouldn't tell the lawyers that. Like, she was denigrating Marjorie Taylor Greene, but she's in there in her deposition, not even being serious. And that's really going to fucking cause problems for Laura, because look at Laura Loomer. Look at what Laura Loomer did, okay? Look at what Laura Loomer did, where Bill Maher makes a quip how she slept with President Trump, and then she decides, ooh, defamation, I'm going to sue you. And so now they're going through the deposition process. But like, you see what they're asking her about her calling Lindsey Graham gay on Twitter, right? She's a person who is denigrating other people and essentially defaming them, making claims about them that are untrue, that she couldn't possibly have knowledge of, and that it's not defaming. That's literally what she does for a living. But now the minute something gets done to her, she's like trying to sue, right? You know what I mean? And they're going to eat her alive, because it's like, you know, when you go into the legal realm, okay, when you get involved in, especially if you're suing somebody who has money like Bill Maher, you know, or HBO, right? You know, HBO's lawyers, they're fucking good, bro. They're not going to walk in there and be like, oh yeah, he called you a name here. Here's a couple $1 million, right? I mean, it works for Trump because Trump is running the government. So, right? So, Paramount's going to bend over backwards, give 15 mil, which is nothing, to his library because they want to make it go away. You know what I'm saying? But like Laura Loomer, nobody's giving her money for a fake defamation suit because she doesn't have the power to offer them anything. Nothing's wrong with Arby's. Arby's is amazing. Dude, I love Arby's. The last time I got recognized as a Fortnite streamer was at Arby's. Believe it or not. I don't get recognized as a Fortnite guy anymore because I'm completely out of that realm. But it was like 8 months ago, we went to Arby's and the people working the drive-thru remembered me from TikTok. And they were like, holy shit. Like, you're acting like Tommy, aren't you? It was Arby's, dude. It was Arby's. Let's go. All right. Oh shit, Mimo. So yeah, so JW. So here's the thing: if Melania sued Hunter Biden, okay, what would happen is Melania would get deposed about Trump, about Trump's her relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, with all of those model agency owners, with Prince Andrew, with Gwendolyn Beck, with all of the victims, right? Trump would likely get deposed. He would likely be part of that as well, including any of her associates from that time. Like, right? You know what I mean? And then also, the thing is, though, is I don't think it would even make it that far because the reality is Hunter Biden repeated Michael Wolff's claims. So the first thing a judge would do is he would look at the suit and he would throw it out and say, like, what are you even doing? Like, if you want to sue anybody, you should be suing Michael Wolff. You have an issue with Michael Wolff's fucking words about you, right? I mean, that's why the Melania thing was so ridiculous. He repeated what Michael Wolff said, and she's like, I'm suing you. It's like, you're a fucking idiot, right? You know what I mean? Like, you're an idiot. She's just dumb. It's like, hello. Dude, I'm serious. The first like legal book I ever read in like age 12, like what is a lawsuit would answer that, you know? Like, yeah, dude, she would get fucking booted. She would get the fucking boot, right? Dude, isn't that funny? Oh shit. Yeah, dude, she would, that lawsuit would go nowhere. But yeah, But yeah, I don't know, man. And I mean, her lawsuit against fucking Bill Maher is going to go nowhere. I don't even know why she did it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, here's what I feel like, guys. You ready? Let me be honest. Because the lawyers are expensive to go and do the depositions and that kind of shit to file a suit. I think this, guys, I think she's backed by right-wing people that are paying for her lawyers and paying her to go in there and take the piss out of that deposition to force Bill Maher into that deposition to see what they can dig up about him, right? I think the powers that be, dude, Jack, let's go, baby. Let's go, dude. Love it. Appreciate you, boss. You're in the house, baby. Thank you. But you know what I'm saying? Like I think that's being funded to fucking, you know, yeah, we can do a goal. You want to do a goal for a dance party? Let's do it. Right? 45-minute dance party goal. Yeah, I think she's being funded. Because, I mean, the reality is, there's a goal, 10 $2 super chats or more for a dance party. The reality is like, yeah, I think they're trying to they're trying to they're trying to like put a message out there to every major voice that says, if you don't toe the line, we're going to like cause you a bunch of grief. Because the reality is getting sued, especially by a machine or a group of people that have a lot of money, it's a fucking pain in the ass, bro. You have to hire a lawyer. These lawyers aren't cheap. You fucking go through the ringer. There's depositions. They're dredging up shit from your past. You know what I'm saying? They're putting you on a public record that then this stuff is part of a legal record. So it's just out there forever, you know, and you know, it can drag on for a while. And then what ends up happening invariably from the people I know who have gone through these types of suits is even when it's bullshit and even when the thing gets dismissed, it's like a static that ends up in the back of your head that just sort of like mixes in with everything because it's just kind of this constant annoyance that you know, it's hard to escape from. You know, there's an energy to it. And particularly if the lawyers on the other side are like really ruthless, it can be really, you know, the way the lawyers are, the demands they make and the deadlines they set can make you feel very pressured. Like one way that this happens a lot, guys, is in custody battles. It gets really dirty in custody battles. For example, what happens is there's a law that makes it so like, so if you go talk to a lawyer and you meet with them in person to discuss your custody case, then your partner can't go and do that. Okay. So what happens in a custody battle with like rich people is one of them who's initiating the custody battle will go to all the best lawyers in town and take meetings with them about the case. It's a dirty tactic. Now their spouse, when they find out about the custody thing, can't hire any of those lawyers because they've already spoken to one party. So then they'll go and they'll hire the nastiest, most ferocious lawyer and then take away some of the other powerful lawyers by meeting with them in advance. So the person's starting at a disadvantage already. And then that really nasty high-priced lawyer will then come out and start demanding all the financial records and all the like proof of this, that, and the other, all with deadlines. And it, you know, if you don't have a really good feisty lawyer, you're just getting fucking pushed around. You know what I mean? And like, so it's fucking can get very dirty. And then what ends up happening is ultimately whoever initiates that custody battle first and gets the nastiest lawyer can just push the other person around like in pretty fucking significant ways. I mean, the legal system, again, like every system in America, it's set up if you know how to manipulate it and if you know the ins and outs of working it, it allows you to fucking use it against people, right? It's a system that allows certain people with the access, the power to use that system's power, but then the other people just get battered by it, you know, and in, you know, which is like one of the things I have said, if you're a young person out there, knowing a lawyer, okay, knowing a good fucking lawyer, not somebody you hire, but just somebody you can talk to that can tell you how to respond to shit, it will be the difference between you getting fucked over and you getting the door held open for you. Because I cannot tell you the number of times when I was 22 years old. I mean, I went to UCLA. All my fucking roommates were lawyers. I've always had a lawyer in close proximity because I know how the law is. But landlords like to do this shit. They like to fucking push their tenants around. And then if you know a lawyer, he tells you what to write. And then you write them a letter and they can tell you've spoken to a lawyer. And all of a sudden their fucking tone changes. Because right off the bat, they're like, okay, I can't push this guy around, right? And then you can start making demands. But if you don't know a lawyer, that fucking helps you do that shit, like they then target you and try to like squeeze you. You know what I'm saying? And so it's fucking, yeah, knowing a lawyer it's a big deal in America. You need a good lawyer and an honest auto mechanic. And if you have those two things at your disposal, you're kind of bulletproof in a way, right? Dude, it's true. Oh man, I always make sure I have a competent lawyer or two in somewhere in my orbit. That's been a rule, you know what I mean, of mine since I went to UCLA and found out how the law operates, dude. Oh shit. Cause it's just another system designed to sort of fuck over the people who don't know how to use it, right? You know, and I mean, there's other systems like the finances and investing is like that too. I don't know anything about that shit. But like if you know, there are people who know about investing and there are people who get taken advantage of when investing. And it really comes down to the knowledge. Same with taxes, right? Have a good tax attorney and you're going to fucking, you know what I mean? Yeah. All right. But dude, I want to watch some of this Annie thing, 𝗙cie𝗶𝗶𝗹𝗀 thing on fucking Doom Scroll. Dude, yeah, the Zelensky and Trump and Putin, this shit is pretty gnarly, dude. It really is. It is like, I mean, I have never been as convinced that Trump is like an active agent of Russia. Like, he really seems like he is actively an agent of Russia. You know what I mean? To the point of where he's always on Putin's side and he's trying to use his American presidential power to get Putin what Putin wants. And dude, that is why, right? And it's gone beyond that to like all these crazy right wingers, right? Like even Lauren Boebert. Did you see Lauren Boebert's tweet today, guys? Can I just show you this tweet? This shit is hilarious, dude. Look at this. So Boebert, right? Good old fucking Lauren Boebert. She fucking tweeted this, right? So Trump talks to Putin. Then he goes on Hannity and says, oh, Putin said your mail-in voting is rigging the elections. And Putin says, I won in 2020. And Putin says mail-in voting is just the way people rig elections. And it's like Putin throws his opponents out of like 10th story windows. And Putin doesn't even hold legitimate elections anymore. He's a murderous dictator. He does not tell the truth. So Putin saying mail-in voting is bad is almost a guarantee of how good mail-in voting is, right? But now all of the right wingers are all like, Putin said Trump won, so therefore Trump won, right? When Putin is like trying to manipulate elections, but now Boebert is like, end it. She's like, Putin said mail-in voting is bad, end it, right? And yes, what Bleeding Green said right there, mail-in is the only form they cannot tamper with. Yes, you can tamper with voting machines. You can turn the power down in a precinct and cause people chaos so maybe they can't vote, right? You cut the power out, you have a machine crash so it backs up and half the people go home and don't vote. You know what I mean? It's like mail-in voting can't be tampered with. It's foolproof. It's one vote per person. It's on paper. Okay, mail-in voting is fucking paper ballots. And these motherfuckers are always crying about paper ballots and shit. It's the only voting they can't fuck around with. And they can't manipulate it because you do it at home on your own time, right? That's what they want. They want to force you to go to a polling place so the polling place can have the power go out, or it gets a bomb threat, or the line is so long that you decide not to vote because you got to go to work, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? They can use all kinds of tactics you know, they can close a polling place down and then you don't know where it is. You finally get there. You have no time, yada, yada, yada. Okay. And so, yeah, that's pretty funny. All right, let's get to this Anna thing now. I want to see this. Give me a sec. It's from like a day or so ago. Yeah, dude, Putin is like, dude, that guy's a fucking clown, bro. Come on now. Dude. All right, I'm finding it. Sorry. It's not in the, oh, I was looking in the wrong channel. All right, never mind. I'm in the wrong channel. My bad. Oh, here it is. Doom Scroll. Anna Kasparian says independent and unaligned. Okay, there she is. Now, I got to say, I'm going to go out because you know me. I tend to pile on a lot with Anna and 𝗙ecie𝗶𝗏𝗃 because they become fucking right-wing plants in a really toxic way. But I'm going to say that this setup here, Doom Scroll, like Anna does look angelic here in this light. Everybody who does this podcast looks really good. The big lighting, it's all bright. She looks marvelous, okay? And everybody who does this podcast looks marvelous. I know the looks aren't really an important thing, but it's nice when when the lighting is good and the whole thing looks, I don't know, it's pleasing to look at. It's easier to watch, right? When it's not like all dingy and fucking shitty looking. So the filming of this is great. I know it had nothing to do with Anna. It has to do with the guy whose podcast it is, Joshua, whatever, Citrella or whatever. But I'm going to give him some props for having a very nice, professionally produced podcast. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to have these same compliments for what's about to come out of her mouth. Okay. I have not watched this yet. So we don't know. We're going to go in. Who is Michael Brooks? Why does that name sound familiar? I do. We're going to jump around here. We're going to skip around, but Michael Brooks. So he is a left-wing podcast. Oh, he used to co-host Majority Report. All right. I did not know that. He was right? And he is somebody who, he seems really interesting, actually. Right? Yeah, he's kind of a comedian. Oh, he's the guy who died. How did he die? Right? Sudden medical condition at age 36. Oh, a fucking blood clot. No way, dude. No way. Yeah, I'm looking at his shit. I'm just looking at a Wikipedia page and I'm looking at some of his stuff and I'm like, God damn, dude, I want to fucking talk to this guy. I want to hang out with this guy. He just seemed really, really fucking good, right? But he died with a blood clot at age 36. Dude, those are so brutal. So yeah, all right. So let's see. So we've got liberalism versus right populism. Radical liberalism versus right populism. That seems like a dumb fucking thing to make. Okay? And so I guess what we'll do is, we'll just start looking into this. Maybe we'll just watch from the beginning. All right? Should I watch from the beginning? All right? And because it goes right into that weird radical liberalism versus right populism, and it'll be about 15 minutes to watch the first two. Yeah, we'll just start it there. All right. Yeah, the right populism is hard because you can't really have populism when you're excluding like huge facets of the country, you know? But yeah, all right, we're going to watch it from the start. You ready? Here we go.
You're not going to co-sign on our social policies. You're going to question our social policies. Well, we think that you're a bigot. We think you're racist. Which side are you going to pick? And I think there are probably a lot of women who switch sides because they look at their communities, they feel unsafe. They look at one party that gaslights them about it. You're not going to win anyone over by making your political project all about finding the heretics and purging them. I mean, these are...
It's interesting. She's going right off the bat with the whole, you were mean to me, so therefore I'm going to go to the side that shares the table with Nazis because at least they're going to be nice to me. When, dude, I just don't like that philosophy because I feel like the side that holds you accountable and holds you to a higher standard is better. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be on the side that's keeping my racism, my misogyny, my xenophobia, that anything I might have from my cultural programming. I want to be on the side that challenges me there and keeps me fucking growing in that realm. I don't want to be on a side that's going to let me become a bigot and then cheer me on with my bigotry. Like, we all grapple with bigotry and you know, this shit. We are programmed to be divided and to be, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I feel like, you know, it's like the same with anything, right? Like, I have a girlfriend who is very much about personal healing. So if I start operating in a way that's manipulative or disingenuous, she calls me out on it. She's not going to let me be something that becomes toxic. She's going to hold me to a standard of behavior. And like, that's what I appreciate about her. You know, this idea that we're like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just really, it's really intriguing the way she fucking says that, you know? But all right, here we go. Let's get into it.
There are people who voted for Obama twice. I don't think there's any self-reflection happening on the left at all right now.
Welcome to Doomscroll. I'm your host, Joshua 𝗙𝗪𝗏. My guest is Kasparian, a host and executive producer of The Young Turks.
Kasparian.
In school, you're studying journalism. What was your first encounter with radical media? What were the things that inspired you? Did you follow certain writers, books, documentaries? Like, how do you start to get interested in this field?
I did not get introduced to radical media or radical thinkers, really, until I met Michael Brooks, the late friend that I was referring to earlier. He was a socialist, a Marxist, and he made me very uncomfortable at first because his ideas were unlike anything I had ever heard before.
Yes.
And
see, it's interesting. I know I'm stopping early and I know I have a habit of this, but you notice how she starts out with Michael Brooks. His ideas made me uncomfortable. But at the time she was hanging out with Michael Brooks, if it made her uncomfortable, she was willing to explore it. But now, though, the way you're dealing with trans people, oh, you're making me uncomfortable. Now when she's uncomfortable, she's like, I'm going to go with the people that don't make me uncomfortable. I think it's really interesting because it feels like she's telling us a little bit about how she has changed, right? Like, she used to, you know, explore that, you know, oh, he's making me uncomfortable. Why is that? What's going on? Let's explore that. Now it's like, you're making me uncomfortable. I'm out of here. I'm going to go hang out with Jillian Michaels and we're going to go talk about how slavery was everywhere. You know, and yeah, she's journalist is a stretch.
It scared me a little bit because at that point in my life, I had fully bought into the identity politics. And he was very subtly pushing against it. He was so articulate, so talented. I mean, he was one of the most talented communicators ever because I could try to say the same thing. I could try to make the same arguments, but there's something about me that like repulses the left.
Dude, she's implying that she's implying that Michael Brooks was like anti-identity politics. See, we gotta pause here because I am sick and fucking tired. Yeah, she's bringing him up, but he can't even, she's like rewriting his fucking legacy, and he's not here to like tell you what he was really about. It's like she's going to right-wing him. You know what I'm saying? Like she's fucking doing a little bit of propaganda goalpost moving here. But let me just say, I am sick and fucking tired of hearing this identity politics being a left-wing thing. It's like, fuck you, Anna. Fuck you, MAGA. The identity politics is 100% a right-wing goddamn invention. Okay? If you say anything about trans rights, you're a woke Democrat, right? I mean, they have us all pigeonholed to where if I fucking take a knee at a football game, they have now classified me on the political spectrum, right? You know what I mean? I mean, every single thing that they do is about identity, okay? It's about your gender, your genitalia, your fucking, your race, your religion. They're like, oh, he's Muslim, can't be the mayor, gotta deport him. Like, oh yeah, you want to get an abortion? You're a Democrat. You're a fucking baby killer. You're a heretic. You know what I'm saying? And like, dude, this shit is fucking bullshit. Okay? The Republicans play identity politics. That's all they play. The party of they, them. Identity politics. That's what they did in the whole fucking election. All right? Democrats are the party of they, them. Right? Democrats support criminals. Right? You know what I mean? It's not like, ooh, we're supporting the Constitution and due process. No, you're supporting criminal immigration. Identity. You're like trying to take away the white people. Excuse me. You know what I mean? It is like literally everything they do is identity, right down to this. You ready? Let me show you. Let me show you right now, guys. We're going to go to fucking Clay Higgins' Twitter account. All right? Right? You remember Clay Higgins? You guys, just to refresh you, remember a while back when we watched that vote where they were voting about the fucking Epstein files, and he said the whole room voted aye, and one guy said nay, and it was him, and he said the nay has it. Remember that guy? Who then they took a roll call vote to realize everybody in the room but him and one other shithead voted against it? Remember that clip? I made a video about it. That was this guy, Clay Higgins, okay? But watch this tweet, guys, because this is their latest identity politics. Whoa, Grandma, let's go. It's their latest. We have 21 minutes. We need 7 more. Let's hit it up. It is the latest identity politics. Watch this, guys. Look at this right here. He says, I don't think the NFL actually wants conservatives to watch their football games. And I must say, if that's the NFL business model, they're doing very, very well. So now their latest identity politics is they're mad at the NFL for having male cheerleaders. But guys, there are male cheerleaders in every high school. There are male cheerleaders in every college. Ronald Reagan was a male cheerleader. George Bush was a male cheerleader. But now, for whatever reason, they have decided that their newest identity politics thing is a male cheerleader is implying something about gay or about femininity or about transgender, even though there's like 12 teams that have male cheerleaders. And there's male cheerleaders everywhere. My best friend in high school was a fucking male cheerleader. But now it's identity. Now male cheerleaders, or a male cheerleader that acts feminine, or a male cheerleader that makes them think of a trans person, is now the latest identity politics. Ooh, we can't go to the NFL anymore because this thing that's in every high school and every college, and all our old presidents did, is now they've decided is an anti-identity thing that they now hate. It's now woke. Dude, 100% identity politics. These guys, okay? They are the identity politics. They, the party of they, them. It's all them. It is all them. All of the identity politics is them. All we do on the left is say, man, we need to protect everybody's civil rights, okay? We're not going to leave no group left behind when it comes to civil rights, all right? We want the same civil rights for every fucking group of people in every fucking state in the United States of America, period. And that's not identity politics. That's reality. And then we do look at identity. We look at people's identity. If you're black, I have to look at your blackness or I can't see your experience, right? I'm not going to pretend you're like a white guy because you have a different experience. A black man in America, a white man in America, very different experiences. You have to see color, okay? You have to see it. Doesn't mean we're gonna fucking, like build a yacht for you or some shit, but we can't not see the color. Oh shit, did you see what I just did there? We can't not see the color. Dude, you know what I mean? I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Like the left wing, the radical left just wants everyone to have civil rights. We want to seek equity and we want to see people's color and gender and to be able to relate to their experience, to be able to like be informed by their experience. All right. But anyway, I'm tired of the identity politics thing being presented as though it's a left-wing fucking incarnation because it is anything but. All right. Back to Anna.
When I try to make the same arguments that critique identity politics, whereas he would do it all the time, and people would listen. They didn't find it repulsive, right? And it was amazing. At the same time, he was hyper-focused on class politics. And we would have these debates off camera. And he would persuade me because his arguments were well thought out. They made a lot of sense. And all of a sudden, I get introduced to radical thinkers. One of my favorite writers, who's unfortunately no longer with us, Barbara Ehrenreich. Absolute favorite writer. I thought she was absolutely brilliant. Mark Fisher, brilliant. These are people that I was introduced to by Michael Brooks. And so I'm not going to lie and say like, oh, I was always introduced to radical thinkers and I always thought in a radical way. No, it wasn't until I would say maybe 2018 where I really started to delve into this and understand what class consciousness really is. And the more I understood class consciousness, the more I understood materialism, the more identity politics disgusted me.
Dude, I mean, Anna, we appreciate you talking about how you had this radical experience in 2018 when you became aware of class consciousness, but you literally wanted to vote for the billionaire land developer in Los Angeles over the black woman. So what was your realization about class consciousness? That you were aligning with the the ownership class, the 1%? That anytime you saw a black woman, even if she was highly educated and skilled, a senator, an attorney general like Kamala Harris, you were going to call her low IQ? And say that she couldn't string two sentences together? Is that your class consciousness? I'm real curious about this because she's talking up a real interesting, game about come to Jesus moments in the realization of her political beliefs. But goddamn, when you see her boots on the ground, dude, she seems to be an apologist for the capitalist fucking skull crushing class. All right. You know what I mean? Yeah, black rock over black lady. Dude, well said. Oh my God, that is it, right? You know what I mean? Dude, she is fucking, there's something going on here that is not it's like as disingenuous as Jillian Michaels talking about we need to come together and form, you know, communities, outreach. We need to bring communities together while she brings white supremacists on her goddamn show. Okay? And Kasparian the same way, dude. She brought a white supremacist, Jack Posobiec, on her show, and she yucked it up with him. Okay? And so she's not really concerned about actual class consciousness. You're right. Dude, Uncle F, you're right, dude. She is rationalizing her pivot, right? You know what I'm saying?
And the thing about Michael that I think people need to acknowledge, because it doesn't get acknowledged enough, was that he was open to everyone. I remember when that story, that Central Park Karen story happened, right? Amy Cooper was her name. She's now in hiding. She's been in hiding since, I think that happened in 2020. Basically, she had a dog off the leash.
Mm.
And there was a bird watcher there, a black man who said, look, your dog needs to be on a leash. This whole conflict ensues. And she says she's going to call the police and say that, you know, he's threatening her.
Right.
Well, it turns out this part of the story wasn't reported at the time. Turns out he did threaten her and tried to like get her dog to come over to him with a treat, which someone trying to do that with my dog, I'd be very upset about it.
Dude, he tried to get her dog to come over with a treat. Dude, oh shit. Oh my God. Dude, she's kind of despicable, man.
Anyway, long story short, when he was covering that, he prefaced it with this long spiel about all the anti-Karen content that was percolating in the media and how wrong it was.
Hey, do we have a clip of that anti-Karen? Michael Brooks on anti-Karen propaganda? I know he didn't threaten her. Yeah, she is rewriting history. Dude, he did not threaten her. And like, dude, and you notice how she set it up though too, with like she's still in hiding. Like, right? She's like trying to say that, ooh, the radical left people did their racial identity politics on this poor woman from the park who can't even go outside anymore. Yeah, I want to find that fucking Michael Brooks.
How gross it was. And at that time, I was doing a lot of that content. And I just felt so gross about myself because I'm like, yeah, he's making a really good point. Like, what are we accomplishing by taking these private citizens who, sure, we caught them in a terrible moment where they're behaving poorly, but we're taking those moments, blasting them, and destroying these people's lives. What exactly are we accomplishing through that? And he wanted to approach everyone from all walks of life from a place of empathy, understanding. That was the starting point. And that's the only way you're ever going to be able to persuade anyone or bring anyone over to your political project. And I wish the entirety of the left...
That's weird because the fucking MAGA and the right wing do not do any of that. So why are they pulling people to the right? I mean, she just said you got to have this like peaceable empathy, right? Oh, you're right. You can't fucking push people away, but like, they don't do that on the right. And yet the right is like, you're even going over there. So that's not really adding up, right? You're like, oh, the left people got to be nicer and more accommodating, but the right people can just be racist, transphobic freaks. But you're going over there. Huh? That's weird. Dude, yeah. The way I don't like the fact that she's using a dead guy and trying to make him like more MAGA. Because just from what I've read, okay, right here, I'm reading a quote where Michael Brooks said, Jordan Peterson was a charlatan, and people like Peterson talk as if they're being persecuted by the all-powerful, intolerant left when they hold down a tenured position at a prestigious university, right? So he was calling out fucking Jordan Peterson for like talking about the intolerant left and the all-powerful left when he is in those same academic circles. So right? You know what I mean? He was critical of Dave Rubin and Ben Shapiro, right? He believed those people were fixated on justifying hierarchies that are socially, politically produced and then not wanting to look at the reason why things have come into play. Okay? So like, you know, I don't think he would be like hanging out pro MAGA. All right? You found a clip? All right. Let's see. How long is the clip you found? See what we got.
I know you are.
All right, it's a short one.
No, I know you.
All right, so who is Michael Brooks? All right, is it this guy? Is this him? This guy. Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, here we go. Let's watch this. Here we go.
No, I know you are, but I mean, like, I do have a critique of identity politics, frankly, and I do think that part of my real allergy does go back to conversations about Israel, where just identity and standpoint epistemology superseded everything else, and we can all walk and chew gum at the same time. If you're not indulging in anti-Semitism, and it's pretty obvious when people are, frankly, you should be able to have an opinion and a robust critique of Israel, and you know. This actually, and in my mind, it applies to plenty of other categories, right? Like, no one is going to say, like, oh, you're anti-Muslim. No, I know you are.
All right. So, I mean, dude, it's hard because that one's focused on Israel. But, like, dude, I feel like the left wing does that all the time, though, right? I don't know. I'm super confused. I'm going to watch more of his shit and try to explore it. Okay, because the thing that's really confusing about it, okay? Yeah, no, I know from what I'm reading, a lot of his shit was focused on Israel, right? And he was from what I saw, he was one of the first people calling out fucking Israel. Do we have anything where he's talking about like the LGBTQ? Is that one? What is that one on, Natalie? Is that one? I want to see when he's talking about, right? Because, I mean, what he was saying there about identity politics was essentially how people use anti-Semitism to prevent critique of Israel, right? Whereas if you're critiquing Israel, you're anti-Semitic, so therefore you're, right? And that's how he was using it in that context. But identity politics tries to get used in other ways that are not accurate. Like, for example, right, what happens is if you defend trans people's right to get health care, the right-wingers will say you support men and women's sports. And it's like, no, there are no men and women's sports. There are transgender women and trans girls who want to participate in extracurricular activities. And you don't believe that those transgender women and girls are girls and women. So you're holding on to this identity that they're men to try and have this fight of where if I support them at all, I am now like this evil thing that's harming your daughters. And like that's identity politics being played, right? Whereas like supporting transgender people's right to get hormones, there is no identity involved in that. It's like if they should be able to go and get their medicine the same way that I can go and get my medicine. Dude, if I'm low T, I can go get some hormones, okay? If I have a daughter and her boobs show up at age 8, we can get her some puberty blockers. They do it all the fucking time, bro, to slow that shit down so she doesn't have double D's in fucking 4th grade, right? They do it all the time. But if she was transgender, then the puberty blockers, well, now it's an identity thing. And now you're like evil, right? So like, dude, I mean, the left wing are not doing the identity politics. We are just protecting people's identities, okay? And that's the reality. The identity politics is exclusively played on the right. And nobody can convince me otherwise, okay? This is like they're the ones who have taken identity and made it political, which means if I celebrate Pride Month, that's a political thing to them. When at the end of the day, why is celebrating Pride Month political? Why is who I have sex with a political identity? Because of the goddamn right wing it is, okay? Where you stick your dick, okay, is not, you know what I'm saying? Where you stick your dick has nothing to do with your political fucking thing. But the right wing has made it so, okay? And Natalie, yeah, put that thing in fucking Discord. I'll look into it, right? They politicize everything. Everything is politicized. If you have a gender neutral bathroom, like the one we all have in our houses, you're like some type of trans ideology thing. It's like, goddamn, dude, when I bought this house, it had a gender neutral bathroom. Does that mean all houses are fucking supporters of trans ideology? Because every house in America has a fucking gender neutral bathroom, right? It's like, fucking A, bro. Don't tell me it's a left-wing thing. It is not. It is not, guys. All right, back at it.
Left realize that. You're not going to win anyone over by making your political project all about finding the heretics and purging them, or determining who the good ones and the bad ones are in society. I think if you are on the left and you're under the impression that rapists and murderers can be rehabilitated through a reformed policing system or prison system, how the hell are you going to argue that someone who might be a racist or a hardcore corporatist can't be reformed or rehabilitated?
Okay, we're going to pause there because first off, defunding the police has nothing to do with reforming. Oh shit. Yeah, we didn't make it. Dude, that's all right. We'll try starting another one, dude. Right? Defunding the police had nothing to do with reforming rapists and murderers. First off, can some rapists and murderers be rehabilitated? I'm sure. Maybe there are some who can't. But defunding the police was never about like rehabilitating rapists. The funding of the police was like changing policing so it doesn't over-police black people, over-police poor people, under-police wealthy CEOs of healthcare companies that kill 100,000 people in order to jack up their stock price, right? Is about having a policing system that is fucking, you know what I mean? That is like not about just fucking attacking people and putting them into prison, right? But now, I don't think anybody has said that like racists or fucking, you know, people that have issues like a MAGA person can't come around. But how do they come around? Okay, because that's what I'm curious is Anna says racists can come around and become not racist, but like, dude, I've been having a discussion tonight with Jillian Michaels, and she doesn't even want to see her racism because she adopted a black child, so she thinks she's already done her part, right? She's like, you know what I mean? She adopted a black child, so now, like, I don't want to hear about white people bad. I don't want to hear about, like, I don't want you calling me a white savior. I've already rescued a black child, right? That's her attitude, you know? And so, like, how do you get Jillian to see her racism, even though she's a mother of a black child, right? She adopted a black child, and she's a gay woman, okay? And she's grappling with fucking racism, and she doesn't even see it. So what are we supposed to do? How do we get her to come about? See, in an ideal world, that you have a conflict about, like, here's your racism, you call them out, and enough people call them out, and they start looking at it, and they're like, oh shit, I get it. But like they're advocating for, no, you don't call them out anymore. You just forget about that racism stuff. Forget about the transphobia stuff. Let's just work on some economic populism, is what Anna and Cenk Uygur, right? Cenk Uygur want to do. Economic populism. But guys, there's racism in economic populism, okay? Because economic populism doesn't affect people the same. They don't, okay? Like economic policy is race in America, and race is economic policy, okay? If like what Zohran Mamdani said that they all freaked out about you go to New York City and all the white neighborhoods are taxed less than all the minority neighborhoods, and all the rich neighborhoods are the white ones and all the poor ones are the people of color. So why are all the poor neighborhoods the people of color? Why isn't there any rich neighborhoods that are filled with people of color? And why are the poor neighborhoods with all the people of color paying so much more property tax than the really wealthy white neighborhoods? Why is that? And when he talks about that, they're like, he's trying to fucking tax the white people. And it's like, goddamn, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, race is economics in America, period. And you can't not have that discussion, you know? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man.
The question is, do you have what it takes? Do you have the patience? Do you have the arguments? Do you have the strength to actually engage in doing the work that's necessary to persuade people? And right now, I don't think that the left is up for that project. They're far less interested in persuading. They're more interested in purging.
Yeah, so it's interesting because I would like to, because she basically just said what Jillian said to me, right? Where, are you ready to do the work of this community thing? But like when Jillian went on CNN, Jillian's her partner now in business and they're on the show together platforming white supremacists. When Jillian went on CNN and was talking about there's to a room of black people, mostly black people, and she goes in there to say only 2% of Americans held slaves, was she trying to persuade those black people that she was on their side? Right? You know what I mean? Like, who was she trying to persuade when she was on CNN saying, oh yeah, by the way, to the black members of this panel, only 2% of Americans own slaves. So therefore we shouldn't have any fucking exhibits at the Smithsonian that talk about slavery because everybody was doing it. And like, you guys are being victims about it. Like, oh shit, you're persuading all the people of color to what? To just get over the fact that for 400 years, people of your color, Jillian, have been able to accrue and pass down family wealth, but black people haven't for 400 years, and they still, it's hard for them because every system in white supremacist slavery America is designed to prevent them from doing it. And the minute they have a protest or some shit about getting murdered by the cops, everybody's ready to fucking like kick him out of the country, right? A black guy takes a goddamn knee in a song and they're still talking about it 5 years later. But we can't talk about slavery, 400 years of slavery and Jim Crow? Like, really? You know, when the reason the guy is taking the goddamn knee in the song is because of slavery and Jim Crow? Right? And like, so we can't talk about it. We can't call you a racist. We can't kneel down to let you know it's a problem. We can't, what can we do? How do we get you guys to care about this shit and want to change these systems? Right? You know what I mean? I mean, honestly, right? Because the Black Lives Matter protests were too violent. The knee in a song was too disrespectful, right? Like, you know, talking about it on CNN is too, like, you're blaming all the white people. It's like there is no proper way for us to say, goddamn, America is really fucked up because we still haven't outrun our racist and fucking sexist and fucking xenophobic and genocidal past. You know? Like, bro, Jesus.
And they're always going to lose as long as they have that culture.
Of the war that's being fought now, what are a few of these more prominent factions?
Dude, what was that cut, bro? What was that cut? They're always going to lose, and then it just cuts to a truck driving by? Dude!
Going to lose as long as they have that culture.
First off, she's like, oh, it's all about political winning and losing, right? But what is that? What is that cut? I don't understand this cut, dude. Dude, all right, there's a crosswalk and a fucking Caltrans vehicle driving by. Dude.
Of the war that's being fought now, what are a few of these more prominent factions?
I feel that on the left, you have the corporate left. And I'm using the word left loosely because I actually agree with 𝗣𝗢𝗟𝗑 that we don't have a left in America at this moment.
See, one of the things I will say about this is it's interesting to see her talk about identity politics when, like, the establishment is an identity that Anna spends a lot of time talking about, right? The corporate Democrats, the establishment Democrats, the mainstream media. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she really, if you look at Cenk Uygur, Cenk and Anna, they talk about identity a lot. They do. It's almost all they talk about, but it's always related to Israel and related to corporate Democrats, centrist Democrats. That's it. Okay? They don't never want to talk about identity with the right wing, but goddamn will they shred the fucking Democrats. You know what I mean?
Have the corporate left. And I'm using the word left loosely because I actually agree with 𝗣𝗢𝗟𝗑 that we don't have a left in America at this moment. When I think of the left, I think of a group of people who are much more interested in serving, representing, and fighting for working class people. We don't really have a group of people like that in this country right now. What gets sold off as the left is, you know, the corporate class, the corporate elite, which I think make up the Democratic Party. And then you have individuals who purport to believe in Marxist theory, but their actions don't really prove it. Their actions seem to indicate that they're far more interested in identity politics and representing various groups of people depending on where they land in their vision of like this oppression hierarchy, right? So I think a perfect example is how this whole transgender debate is playing out in America and how the left in America talks about it.
Dude, the whole transgender debate. See, this is part of the problem I have, is just the way she referenced that. She's like, the whole transgender debate. But there is not a transgender debate, Anna. There's like 1 million transgender people. 3 million transgender people. Okay? It's like, there's not a transgender debate. There's millions of transgender people in America, or at least 1 million of them. And we want to make sure they're safe, that they're not like on the streets, forced into sex work, fucking denied medical care, denied the ability to use the bathroom, getting beaten up and murdered, trying to take a pee. It's not a transgender debate. The fact that you look at their existence and them fighting for their rights to equality and think of that as some political debate to be had. It's not. Like, it's like, dude, the transgender debate is only playing out because there's a faction of America that wants to eradicate transgender people, that they don't believe trans women are any type of woman. They don't believe trans men are any type of man. And they want to stomp them out because of a fucking Bible, because of a fairy tale they can't even fucking prove. Like, I could fucking bring a transgender person to your house. You can make them dinner. You can snuggle up with them on the fucking couch. Show me something from your goddamn Bible. You can't. There's nothing in there that you could fucking bring to me, right? And you know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Oh, shit.
So, for instance, you know, women for a long time were considered oppressed in America. But
women for a long time were considered oppressed in America. Yeah, they're not oppressed anymore. They were considered oppressed. Dude, right? Women are not oppressed anymore. Dude, 10,000 women every year report rapes in college, okay? Yes, 10,000 women report sexual assaults in college. That's the reported. We don't know how many are happening. How many of those guys get busted? None. There's a goddamn rapist in the fucking presidency who appointed a rapist to head the Department of Defense, who appointed a sexual abuser to run Health and Human Services. And like, while 10,000 women a year in college report sexual assaults, and exactly hardly any get fucking actually prosecuted. Like, come on, man.
right now on that oppression hierarchy, they're much lower compared to transgender people. And so when it comes to a topic like transgender women in women's sports, well, transgender women are more oppressed than women are. So who cares about the unfairness of including transgender women in women's sports? Throw biology out the window. If they say they're women, then by definition, that means they're women, not just gender-wise, but sex-wise. Biologically, we're just going to pretend.
Oh, right there. But like, dude, she's like, every transgender athlete doesn't have a physical advantage. Like, that's not true. There might be some that have a physical advantage, but there's cisgendered athletes that have a physical advantage, right? Like, you know, when 𝗪𝗙𝗫𝗀𝗃 was smashing every other woman in fucking swimming, nobody went up and said, God damn, bro, she's got too much of a physical advantage. We got to get rid of all the people like 𝗪𝗙𝗫𝗃 because she, right? And pretend and like, come on, man. You know, there's so much denial of trans reality here. She basically said without saying that she doesn't believe transgender people are even transitioning, right? Dude, it's fucking brutal.
And that's turned a lot of people away from the left in America. I think the reason why the Trump brand of...
See, it's interesting because if we were to go back to 1964, guys, right? If we were to go back to the 1964, you could go all over America and you would hear people like Anna saying, you know what, guys? The way these Democrats are trying to say that black people should have equality and should be able to eat at the same lunch counter as us and be able to like sit in the same spot on the bus as us is really turning off a lot of us politically because like they're playing this identity politics, you know? And like, you're really, if you get in my face and tell me black people are supposed to be able to go to my all-white school, you're going to probably chase me to the other side. So you should stop telling me that I'm wrong because I want the school to be all white, right? Same goddamn thing, man. Same goddamn thing. But on this side, though, Anna wants the all-white school, right? I mean, we know that her and Cenk struggle with racism, too. I mean, it's obvious, dude. It's so obvious. Racism, misogyny, fucking xenophobia. They were never really leftists. I mean, they were leftists because it was like money, right? Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Fuck you, Choppy. Oh. Right? But dude, you know, this shit is wild.
Conservatism or republicanism is so ascendant is because so many people who used to identify as Democrats have essentially been purged from the party because they haven't bought into that oppression hierarchy. They believe in fairness. They believe in treating people well. They don't...
See, first off, there is no fairness in sports, okay? There is not. There is not fairness in sports. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? There is not. You know what I'm saying? there is no fairness in sports. It's like, that's what's really hard about this, about addressing the transgender people participating in sports. What is hard about it is the fact that sports are not fair. Okay, sports in general, there are people who are just born into bodies, whether they're male or female, cisgender or whatever, they're born into a body and they automatically have the advantage. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? And so that's one of the things that is hard about the sports thing is even if transgender people never compete, sports is not fair. Sports is an environment where no matter how much you want to participate, it is a thing where these biologically advantaged people get the whole world and everyone else gets shit on. Okay? Now, sports could be fair if you took all the biologically advantaged kids like out of the high school, right? Instead of one super high school person, right? Like in my high school, we would have one football player that was better than everybody, right? That's the way it was. And the whole sport was around that person, okay? And so what you could do is you could take like the fastest, most competitive, most powerful athletes and put them into a special league only for those types of athletes when they're younger. Like, you want to go into the pros, go into that other shit. You know what I'm saying? Go into that special league and let the kids that aren't biological specimens just compete and be in sports without it having to be something that goes towards being a pro. I mean, it's just really, it's real simple. You know, we should take the special ones and make them go to a different league instead of like acting like all the regular people should just get shit on by the special ones. You know? I mean, it's a real simple fucking solution.
Believe in discrimination, but these issues aren't black and white. And the unwillingness to kind of go along with it, the unwillingness to kind of shut your mouth and refuse to bring up any of the concerns that some people have been bringing up lately, as it has to do with these social issues. It's kind of torn the left apart. That obsession with intersectionality, identity politics, and just this refusal to really address class politics.
You've anticipated my next question, actually, because I wanted to ask you about this 2024 popular vote.
Mm-hmm.
Trump won historic margins with women, people of color, basically every demographic except white boomers.
Mm-hmm.
That is the Democratic base right now. How do we account for these historic shifts?
I think a lot of different things happened during the 2024 election cycle. For one, the Democratic Party just kept telling working class Americans that the economy was awesome and that they were complaining for no reason. Obviously, we're dealing with serious inflation.
Dude, that is not true. The Democratic Party did not say the economy is awesome and you fucking have no reason to be upset. The Democratic Party was like, the economy's doing better than most places in the world, and it's because of the fucking pandemic, right? Like, of course there's inflation because we're recovering from a fucking worldwide shutdown, all right? That affected the whole world. Inflation was everywhere. But no, Republicans didn't even believe the pandemic. They're like, no, that was a whole nother thing. You asked me to get a vaccine. You wanted me to wear a mask. You fucking oppressed me, right? Goddamn, forget slavery. You forced me to wear a mask on the bus, right? That was the fucking right wing, right? Now inflation has gone up because of Trump. It's going to go up even more with these fucking tariffs, right? But like, and that's bad policy. It's not even because of a worldwide event. It's because of a goddamn moron in the fucking Oval Office. Bro, dude, yeah. I mean, she's hard to watch, guys. I've got like 2 more minutes in me, and then I got to go make some videos. All right?
The inequalities that persisted felt like they got worse under Biden, not better. And the inequalities I'm referring to, of course, is income inequality, wealth inequality. These disparities just got worse because of the fact that housing became even more expensive and unaffordable.
Why did housing become more expensive and unaffordable? Anna, why? Because corporations were fucking, all right, memory problem, let's go. Let's get it going. Why? Because corporations are buying up houses and not renting them. Hello? There's a reason why housing became unaffordable there, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, hello? What is going on? Like, yeah, we know why that shit happens, but nobody's really talking about that shit. What is Donald Trump going to do to make housing more affordable? He's going to deregulate shit, and hedge funds are going to be able to do more shit, right? Yeah, no, Amanda, that's funny. Trans people made it more affordable or less affordable. Yeah, they blamed it on the immigrants. Now we have masked marauders running through the streets with cars with no license plates, abducting immigrants, right? People in Home Depot parking lots because they said that's going to bring the housing price down. Like, goddamn, dude, like looking at her shit. Because, dude, first off, I'm not going to say that the Dems didn't get divided because Gaza did a number on the party. And Joe Biden should have dropped out and fallen on the sword and let everybody else rise up. And we made a whole bunch of mistakes. But to act like the party itself, that like defending transgender people caused Donald Trump, it's like, no, man, America's fucking racist and misogynist. So a bunch of people in the middle that fucking probably hate fucking Trump, we're just never going to vote for Kamala Harris because she was a black woman. You know what I'm saying? And she's never going to talk about it. It's like, goddamn, Anna, I watched you and Cenk Uygur, right? You and Cenk Uygur, I watched you guys through the whole election, besides taking corporate donor money from a right-wing Peter Thiel-funded venture that whole year and announcing that every time you talked. You guys spent the whole election denigrating the black woman, saying that she was no different than Trump. You lied about Project 2025 not being real. You said Trump wasn't that bad. He wasn't going to build any of these camps. It was hysteria over the immigration. Right? You said that Kamala couldn't string two words together, that she had no good policies, even though she had some really brilliant ones, right? Especially the one about Medicaid, being able to negotiate elder care and care for disability, which would have been a shoehorn in on Medicare for all, because it would have allowed the federal government to get in on fucking price establishing in that industry. There were definite things. And dude, Kamala Harris would have been the most left-wing president we ever had. Okay. She is not like 𝗙𝗪𝗪cie𝗠𝗆𝗆. Okay, Kamala Harris was far further left than fucking 𝗙𝗪𝗪cie𝗠𝗆𝗆. Okay, she just didn't like announce it. I don't know why. I don't know what her compulsion was to campaign the way she did. Probably because she's a black woman and she felt like she had to be ultra careful, right? Because everybody was attacking her from every side. Her own side, the other side. She didn't want to piss off Joe Biden, who fucking like was a close fucking personal part of her sphere. I mean, and I'm not going to say she was the greatest candidate, but she was goddamn better than Donald fucking Trump. Okay? She was goddamn better by 100,000 leagues than Donald fucking Trump. Okay? And anybody who fucking didn't see that and couldn't go all in on her in the choice between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, one of them was fucking pretty decent, and one of them was a goddamn piece of shit. End of fucking story. You know what I'm saying? And no, if you're going to say no more corporatists and allow the fascists, fuck you, bro. Seriously, fuck you. If that's your thing, you would rather have a fascist than a corporatist, then you need to bounce, bro. You need to take off, dude. Right? Because I'd rather have a corporatist than a goddamn fascist. Fuck you. All right?
It's the one and only way that Americans were able to build wealth in this country, and that's kind of been ripped away from them. At the same time, you have exploding, prices at grocery stores. And the party that's supposed to look out for Americans, economically speaking, historically that was always thought of as the Democratic Party, absolutely abandoned them and told them, how dare you complain about this wonderful booming economy? Biden's been incredible. Now look, Biden compared to Obama, for instance, was a little bit better when it came to class politics, but not by enough, in my opinion. And so the messaging on the Democratic side was not great. At the same time, you have this faux populist, Donald Trump, essentially
She calls Donald Trump a faux populist. Dude, let's go. Dude, I mean, we're all tired of money in politics, guys, but we're not going to be able to avoid it, you know what I mean, unless we get some people who fucking run that are, you know what I mean? We got to have some people that fucking run that are not funded by corporate. You know what I'm saying?
Positioning himself and branding himself as a populist, right? Branding himself as someone who's really concerned about working class Americans, really concerned about unlimited, illegal immigration, depressing wages for American citizens. Like, he said all the right things. And so when you have these two sides where one side is telling you, basically gaslighting you about your current economic situation.
See, here
and then the other side's like, you know what, this is messed up and I want to do something for you.
Here's the problem though, and we're going to pause here. I want to address two things. So the thing about this, guys, is yes, you have candidates running all over the country, but when it comes down to the end, you're going to have two candidates, okay? And so, yeah, you vote for the DSA, but if the non-DSA corporatist wins the fucking primary, you still got to vote for them. Okay, but yes, the problem I have here is Donald Trump was lying. He did not say all the right things. He was telling lies. He was like, I am going to fucking end the war in 24 hours. He is like, I am going to cut your energy bills in half by the end of the year. I'm going to deport 20 million people. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Donald Trump was lying. He was promising a whole bunch of shit he could never deliver, and it was all bullshit. Okay, but the people on the left were like, it's not that bad. We're recovering from the pandemic. But Anna's like, wow, the left-wing people were gaslighting us. But this other guy who promised all this crazy shit that he's never going to be able to deliver, that guy sounded pretty good. So now I'm going to be nice to the MAGA people, right? Because, you know what I mean? Like, she's basically saying, whatever you say, if it's the right thing that promises people the world, that's a good thing, even if you're fucking lying. Like, yeah, eating the cats and dogs, like, bullshit. Bullshit. He won on racism. He won on misogyny. He won on the immigrants and the trans people are ruining your life. He won on preserving white supremacy. Don't tell me it was fucking him saying the right shit and the left-wingers gaslighting. Fuck you, Anna. Right? Bring me on your show. I'm ready to light you up. I'm going to go make some goddamn videos. Dude, this shit gets my blood boiling. All right? Dude, you'd vote for a wet shit over a Republican. I hear you. Dude, again, though, guys, believe me, I don't want corporatists either. But if there's a goddamn corporatist that ends up being our candidate, like, I'm going to fight for them like they are fucking Noam Chomsky. Okay? That's it. Okay? You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is, though, is I think Kamala Harris is a decent candidate, bro. I thought she was decent. She was better than Hillary Clinton. I think she was better than Al Gore, believe it or not. Even though Al Gore had better policy, I think Kamala Harris had, like, I don't know, there were more glass ceilings to be broken through than fucking being a felon, the prosecutor thing turned you off. I get that, dude. And it's hard because she was a prosecutor at a time when, like, throwing the book at people became very popular with everybody post-Reagan, right? The severity of the 90s, and everybody went into this whole policing mentality. It was like a reaction to the end of the civil rights movement and the damage Reagan did that a lot of people bought into. And so, like, but I don't know. I feel like Kamala Harris, though, had been trying to absolve herself of some of the sins, right? Like, she had been trying to atone for some of the sins in her earlier, when she was participating in the war on drugs. You know what I mean? And I thought Biden did that too. Like, Biden grew up at a time when he wasn't like Bernie. Okay. He was not fighting to end segregation. Okay. He was bipartisan with the racists. But it seemed like Joe Biden was trying to like undo that. He was trying to atone for those sins, right? Donald Trump and the right wing, they don't try to atone for sins. They won't even admit they're fucking doing that shit, you know? You know what I mean? They didn't spend any political capital. Well, they didn't have a lot. I mean, they got the election. They had the first 2 years. They tried to get the fucking BBB and they didn't. They got the, you know, Inflation Reduction Act and a couple other pieces. And then the Republicans took the House. And then it was 2 years of getting investigated, you know, and that's part of it is America. Like we keep flip-flopping. We vote for one thing. And then 2 years later, we fucking give the House to somebody else. And so we never really get an agenda to work because we keep voting. Oh, we're going to go this way. Now we're going to go this way. Now we're going to vote for the rapist. Now we're going to fucking do this, right? Because Americans are kind of like entitled and fucking stupid, you know? But I'm going to go. I'm making videos. Love you guys. It's time to go. More from you, yeah, more. Good night, guys. Dude, Harris may have won, guys. We're never gonna know about that. Dude, we need people to run for office, baby. Dude, you're a felon. You can still run for Congress. Dude, get in there, bro. Goddamn. Dude, be the felon. Let's go. Run. Good morning. Good morning. What do we got? What do we got? I want to find a good song to go out on. All right, we're going to go out on this one. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Keep it real, baby. Don't fuck around. Kamala would have been a great president. Good night.
It's too late because everyone is waiting. That's great, so why are you complaining? You're on blue. If I'm unsure, will anybody notice? It's my fault because I love you on purpose. I'm insecure, or just a little nervous. You're on blue. Who knows you're on blue? When every bruise looks good on you. Tell me who knows you're on blue. When every bruise looks good on you. You found out that nobody is perfect, and you doubt that anything is worth it. Look around, the world is a circus. You're on blue. So provoking, I forgot to mention. Are you joking? I need some attention. And nothing's working to change your direction. You're on blue. Who knows you're on blue? When every bruise looks good on you. Tell me who knows you're on blue. When every bruise looks good on you. Why won't you hold my hand? Are you gonna deny this? Do the best you can. I haven't got a plan, but I'm gonna survive this. That's just who I am. When you're on blue, you keep everything inside of you. You try to play it cool. Sometimes you gotta break the rules. I don't know why you're confused. All you need is a little bit of attitude. Yeah. This is it. I'm tired of explaining. It's too late because everyone is waiting. That's great. So why are you complaining? You're on blue. If I'm unsure, will anybody notice? It's my fault because I love you on purpose. I'm insecure or just a little nervous. You're on blue. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Hey, hey, hey. Starting to enjoy the view. I'm all about the attitude. Who knows you're on blue when every bruise looks good on you? Tell me who knows you're on blue when every bruise looks good on you. Freedom.